Hey, good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to the No Picks podcast. This is
What up?
Joe
What up?
checking
What up?
in.
This is
What's
Ty.
up, Ty?
Let's do it.
What's
Let's
up,
do it.
man?
Mm,
How you feeling, man? You feeling good?
I feel good, man. Let's get at him today.
All right. Let's get
Yeah.
active. Let's get active. It's been a little while. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Um, Today we want to talk about definitely a topic that's always being discussed because it's constantly changing and growing and expanding,
Right.
and it's going to continue impacting society. And that is technology. That is the impact of the digital age,
Yeah.
right? So we were thinking about that. So we just want to chime in and talk about some positive and negative impacts that the digital age has had on culture.
Yeah.
Asking, if the good outweighs the bad. Maybe discuss some things that we can do away with, but kind of just a general conversation about just technology, social media, the digital age, and how it's impacting culture.
Right.
Um, and that's what we want to chime in on. So what are your thoughts? So let's start with some positives, right? Before we jump into the critiques of like the ways it's just ruining life, our quality of life right now.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask you, like, so what do you think off the top of your head are some positives about just technology, the digital age?
So, I mean, some positives of the digital age, like the fact that that information is like so readily available
Right.
is huge, right? Like, you can
Mhm.
just Google what's going on in Malaysia, right? And
Right.
you could literally read current events from Malaysia, or Singapore, or you know um, Tokyo, or whatever,
Right.
and and that's huge. That's invaluable, right?
Mhm.
Being able to look at historical events and what's going on currently and what's projected, like the stock market, right? You can through you know modern technology, you can invest in a real estate company in London, right? Like you can
Right.
literally invest in a real estate company in London. You can go download Robinhood, look up, real estate in, put in the search bar, what's real estate, and find a company in another country. Probably not Russia, right? But um, or any countries hostile to the U.S. But
Yeah.
you can invest in a mining company in China. You know what I mean? Like it's huge. It's huge. Um, so
Mhm.
we have more information at our fingertips than we ever have. Um,
Right.
so obviously, as a civilization, we're more informed than we ever have been. And I think that's you know what I mean, that's immeasurable. You know,
Yeah. And it's in theory, it sounds like it'd be a good thing, right? You have a
right?
society where people are able, not everybody, because there are some countries that don't have internet and things like that. But like for the most part, just generally speaking, we now have a time where you're right, information really is at our fingertips, where things like encyclopedias now have become obsolete, right? Because we don't remember them days in grade school
Yeah,
when we had to
yeah,
literally like
yeah.
sit there and do a project and just flip through the pages of the encyclopedia to like
Right.
see. When was the last time you ever even touched an encyclopedia, bro? Like,
Not
you know
since my
what I
grandma.
mean?
My grandma. I remember my grandma had like a whole the A through Z of encyclopedias in our
Yeah.
I would walk in the house right where I grew up, and immediately to my left, as soon as I walked in the door, it was a whole encyclopedia. You would just like look. It's like nobody ever read the shit, obviously, right? Like it's just like, but she did it. I guess that was the thing at the time, in her time, right? She was like, hey, if I buy these books, my kids and my grandkids will read this shit. None of us ever read it. I'm sure. I'm sure my uncles didn't read it. I'm sure my aunts didn't read it, and I damn sure didn't read it. But
No.
it was a good thought, right? It was a good. Hey, you know what? This is this information.
Right.
Um,
Now we don't need them. Like, if I
right.
ask my daughter, like, do you know what an encyclopedia is? She might look at me with a dumb face, like, what is that? Like kids these days don't know what that is. So yeah, we have so much access to information now that we
Right.
can just Google it. It's literally at our fingertips. Um, and do you remember before Facebook, right? Which now is becoming Meta. Everything is changing
Yeah.
now. All the names are changing. But do you remember MySpace?
I remember that. Yeah.
So I remember the first time I got into MySpace and how blown away I was because
Right.
you could see friends in high school, you could see friends from middle school, you could connect with the relatives. It was just a really cool way to really just meet new people or just
Right.
interact with your crew and show them love. And you used to have like a favorites, and like your 6 favorite people would be like on
Yeah.
your homepage, and you can
Yeah.
listen to different
Yeah.
songs. But that's another thing that I love about the digital age is that I remember that, and then in high school it was College Book, and then College Book got changed to Facebook because I remember at first Facebook
Okay.
was just for college students. Like when I got introduced to it, like my senior year of high school, and this was like 2005, it was only just college kids really just connecting on this site. But then they opened it up to everybody, and
Mhm.
then it became what Facebook is now. And so it's an easy way. But I remember being like, "Yo, I haven't seen this person since like second grade.
Mhm.
Yo, I haven't seen this dude since like eighth grade." Like it was amazing that you could
Right.
really get in contact with people that you used to mess with in the past, like
Right.
that easily, and instantly, and see what people were doing. And even now, I mean, I'm not on too many social media. I'm not really on social media now, but
Right.
you can just see like, wow, what's so and so from high school doing or from college, and just kind of see what people are doing.
Right.
So it keeps us connected. It allows us to form these relationships quicker. So I think I love that aspect about the digital age as well.
I gotta add something though. Another good thing about the digital age, you made me remember. You made me remember linking up with people that you went to high school with and stuff like that. I was able to like circle around and link up with chicks that I didn't link up with during high school, and kind of like what Kanye West said, there's some bitches that owe me sex, and and
Yeah,
so
Kanye.
so, so so I was able to circle back around and be like, hit him up like, hey, what's up, blah blah blah. And we ended up, so I ended up cashing in on a lot of tickets.
Yeah,
Let's say I ended up cashing in because like people were like, oh, what's up, whatever. And people I didn't, because I had a girlfriend during high school, like most of high school. Like my girlfriend, her name
yeah,
was Crystal, and I was a freshman, she was a sophomore,
yeah,
and a lot of the sophomore guys like hated me or whatever because like I was like dealing with her, and I used to go hard for her or whatever, right? So we was together, and I remember going to her senior prom, her junior, like when I was a senior, she was in college. We broke up, whatever, because she was probably doing her own thing, getting ran through, whatever. But um, you know, I was after high school. I was able to link up with the chicks that I actually wanted to link up with back then but I couldn't because everybody was like so in so close proximity, whatever. So like I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was like, like that's the put that in the positive, put that in the check mark of the
positive.
positive.
That's
That's a
positive.
positive.
That's a positive. And
Right, right, right.
it's crazy to look back though, and like when I started really getting on social media when I was younger, and just the amount of people who were just like, "Man, I had a crush on you in high school," and all
Right.
this. Why you didn't tell me back then?
Yo, nobody,
Why
everybody
you
was
ain't
awkward.
tell me back
Everybody was
then?
weird. Everybody was going through puberty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everybody had
everybody
zits.
was going
Everybody
through. I'm
had
like, I would have never known, bro. I'm like, I
right,
wish you would
right,
have told me back then because
right.
we might have been a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so it was great for that too, for these surprises and just reconnecting with people
yeah,
that otherwise you would have never maybe seen again, maybe in
yeah,
passing. Because in Philly it's like 2 degrees of separation. Like
yeah,
everybody in Philly knows somebody or somebody who fuck with somebody, or you know what I mean.
yeah,
But no. So I think it's great. It's also great that we can stay so connected with each other, right?
yeah.
And when we talk about the negatives, there's a flip side to that, right? But for
Yes,
now, let's stay on the positives. Just like
right.
also having a society that is hyper aware and has information at their fingertips, there's pros and cons to that as well, right?
Hmm.
Everything is like a double-edged sword in the digital age, in my
Right,
opinion.
right,
But
right.
I was gonna say, I also feel like we can't sleep on the fact that technology in the digital age has also made life so much convenient, right? And what I mean by that is just like before you had to like memorize phone numbers. Now
Right,
you can just store it in a smartphone.
bro. I don't know anybody's
Before,
phone number, bro.
right? I don't, bro.
I don't know nobody's phone number, bro.
I felt so bad because my wife knows my phone number off the top of her head, and
Right.
until this day, I have to memorize it. I have to, bro, because I told her like I don't know. I have not memorized your phone number.
I
Like
don't
I
know
have
nobody's
no
phone number,
idea.
bro.
Need to pull it up. If I need to, I just open up my contacts. But I
Yeah,
really should know her number by heart, at least that one number.
yeah,
But technology has also made life convenient that way. It's made it so that you don't even have to. You literally don't even have to leave your home. Like you can order food
yeah,
from Go Kart. You can order some food from GoPuff. You
yeah.
can order your stuff from Amazon, which is
Uber
basically,
Eats.
you don't
Uh,
have to leave your house for
yeah,
anything. To be very, very honest, like you
yeah,
don't have to leave your house for anything.
yeah.
So technology
Grubhub. You
has
can go on
also,
Grubhub and go get a
yeah,
goddamn Five Guys banging ass cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Easy.
Grubhub, DoorDash, right? So clearly we're aware that technology and the digital age has made things much more easier to access. It's provided more convenience, right? And of course, you pay for that convenience, but it's there. It is
Right.
available. We didn't have that shit back then.
No.
I remember the red boxes where you had to go to the big red machines and take
Yeah.
DVDs out,
Yeah.
and then before
Yeah.
that, it was the Blockbuster
Right.
and
Yeah.
Hollywood videos. Then it went to the red boxes, which were like in front of pharmacies and random ass
Yeah.
Rite Aid or some shit. And then now it's Netflix, Disney Plus. It's
Yeah.
changed. Now it's
Yeah.
all streaming.
Mm.
So much has become easier and accessible, and it's become more convenient. Now you can just monthly subscription. You have access to all these movies and shows.
Yeah.
So technology has definitely made life more convenient in many ways as well.
Yeah.
So I know both of us, we're not sleeping on the fact that there are lots of positives about technology and what it's
Right.
done to us, especially specifically the digital age. Because when we say technology, like, we don't want to branch out to like medical equipment and medical. We're
Yeah.
strictly
No.
thinking
No.
more
Yeah.
internet
Yeah.
and
More internet.
more social
Yeah.
media, things like
Mm.
that. Anything that you can do via
We don't have
internet,
to do
right?
Morse code anymore. Like we could. You
Yeah,
mean? Like,
no
yeah.
Morse code. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, bro, yeah. So a lot has
Yeah.
definitely become easier.
Right.
Even video games have become more convenient. Like, you can
Mm.
play them on your phone. You can download games on your console and store the games in your console. Like,
Yeah.
shit can change, bro. Remember the days when we had to blow the cartridges just to get into the
Oh
fucking
my God.
console,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
save your
Yeah.
game, so you had to beat the game in one sitting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you had
Yeah.
to start all over again. Like,
I used to never turn that shit off when I was a kid. I used to, because I didn't have a fucking memory card. I remember having the first PlayStation and playing Metal Gear Solid, and I didn't have a memory card. So I was like, I don't know why I didn't have a memory card, whatever. But
man,
like, I
bro.
used to just go to sleep and wake up and keep playing it. Like, some of the
Yeah,
shit stayed on
bro.
all night. But I turned the TV off, right? So if my grandma came in the room, she would notice that the TV was off, but the game was still on. So, but she didn't know that. Mm,
Yeah, bro.
mm,
Listen, it has made. There's been a lot of positive impacts on culture, right?
right.
It has, um, but I think it's so easy to transition into, in what ways do we feel like it has negatively impacted culture too, as well? Because there are so many things that have come out of this digital age, this technological
Yeah.
expansion, that I look back and I'm just like, man, I don't like this part of society now.
Yeah.
I don't like this trend. I don't like where this is going. I don't like what it's doing to
Yeah.
people, because I also feel like, in a way, technology has connected us so much, but it's also isolated us in so many ways too, bro. So off the top of your head, if you could think, like, what's one thing that you noticed, a negative impact that the digital age has had on culture, on society?
Um. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is like scamming. Right. So if you have certain information from people, right? Like, let's specifically say name, date of birth, social security number, address.
Right,
Um, that's kind of all you need to scam, particularly like an elderly person, right? Because they're
right,
the like they're buying, like they're like the ones like that people target, right, more than people our age or younger. Um, I don't want to get into specifics, but like in my profession, I see elderly people get scammed all the time. I see them, and they like, a lot of times they have no idea. They have no idea that they've been scammed. Like they realize that they didn't get their check, and they're just
right,
like, hey, I don't understand. I didn't get my check. So like, like I said, I don't want to get into specifics, but based off what I do, I can take a look at certain things and say, hey, you know what, um, your check was rerouted to a bank account that was created online that I know that they have no they that they know have they have no knowledge of,
right.
and it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? So I have to do what I have to try to read between the lines without without too much information,
Right.
and kind of make them whole, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And make sure that they can pay their bills, make sure they can do X, Y, Z, because whatever happened wasn't something that happened um that was their fault. It was something that and a lot of times I have conversations with these people. I'm like, hey, did anyone call you and talk to you? A lot of times people call these elderly people, and under
Yeah.
the pretense of something else, right? Like, hey, you want some kind of sweepstakes. All I need is your name, your date of birth, your social security number, your mailing address, your mother's maiden name. They
Yeah.
have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, they have no idea that the person that they're talking to is a scam because they make it sound good, right? I remember being in high school. I remember being in college. My freshman year in college, someone called me and they're like, "Yo, you won. You can have your choice. You won either a Rolex watch or what did they say? It was like a Ferragamo bag." And I'm sitting there like I remember I like walked out of class. I'm freshman year in college. I walked out of class. I'm like they like, yeah, you want I'm like, a Ferragamo bag. I'm like, I want a Rolex watch. Like, I didn't know nothing about Ferragamo, right? I'm like, I want to give me this watch because I didn't even have a girl at the time, right?
Yeah.
So they like, all right, cool. Like, we just need your banking information, blah blah. But I had none of that stuff with me. If I had that stuff with me, I would have gave it to them
They would have got
because they would have got me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, but I just happened to leave class because I answered this phone call and I just thought it was an emergency.
you. Yeah.
So they telling me like, yo, you need this. I'm like, bro, I don't have none of that. And they talking to me. I'm sitting there like, listen, I'm kind of pleading with them like, can you please just send it still though? Because like, even though I don't have my banking information, you know what I mean? Like, but I was the one that was dumbass, right? Like, I had no idea. But it's like it's easy to get got. Like, I was inexperienced, and then like so they target inexperienced people. Like myself, if they call me now at 35, I'll be like, nigga, blow me, fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, now that I know what I know, it's like they target young, inexperienced people or old ass people who have no idea what they even talking about. So if an older
Right.
person, they call an older person with the same thing, like, hey, I don't know, you won unlimited bingo trips to the whatever, and they'll be like, okay, cool, like, here's my banking
Right.
information. And then they get their check redirected somewhere else, and they never get their check. Then I see them at where I work, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking at their stuff, and I'm like, you know what, this looks fishy. You know what? I'll fix whatever needs to be done, and we'll take care of you. Don't worry about that.
Right. And they're lucky that you work for an agency that can do that.
Right.
Redirect the funds back to them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're so fortunate for that. And it's crazy because I feel like, and that's part of this digital age that scares me too. It's this idea that you could be conversing with someone on social media, on the internet, on a phone call, and you really don't know if you're really talking to that person.
Right.
Right? People put up fake accounts, burner accounts, troll accounts. You could be talking to someone and they could be like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, and the third. And they could just be trying to scam you or just
Right.
be lying or be a bot. You don't know if you're really talking to somebody, bro. And that's how they scam people like for like these like IG now we have AI generated like people and stuff like that. So we definitely there was a report, a study that came out that said that Gen Z has been scammed a lot.
I
Like the
could believe
percentage of
that.
people in Gen Z that got scammed a lot, it has increased significantly. And like I almost got scammed a few months ago, bro. Like they was calling me from custom and borders, talking about somebody was smuggling packages of guns and drugs to an
Mm.
old address I used to live at, and that's what flagged it for me because I'm like, wait, I haven't lived in that house like in 5 or 6 years. So they had some old information of mine, but they
Right. Right.
sounded legit. The dude said he was a border control agent. It's a scam that's been going on now
Right.
where people are calling and being like,
Mm.
nah, they smuggled. It's a federal investigation. But I was like, listen, I'm not giving any information over the phone. Like, at least that much. I'm like, if I can't see you, if I don't know, if I don't see that badge, if I don't see you come out of a cop car or like a custom and patrols uniform, like you're not getting information from me over the phone. You're not getting any info
Right.
from me. So it's so much easier to scam people, but that goes in hand with not knowing who you're talking to. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
maybe if they got a blue check, it's like, all right, this might be legit. This is actually that person. But
Yeah.
when you interact with the digital world, bro, you really don't know who you're talking to, if
Yeah.
it's
You
even
really
a
don't.
real
Yeah.
person. And that scares me.
Yeah.
That makes me very uneasy. That's why I don't really try to meet people too much online too, because like
Right.
especially like these YouTube comments, you don't know who you be talking to, bro.
Right.
They could be somebody from Russia, somebody not Russia, not to pick on Russia, but like anywhere, bro.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're talking to, you know.
Or you see,
So
what's that show? 90 Day Fiance. There's this guy on
90
there.
Day
You ever watch it before?
No,
You never heard of it? No?
no.
Well, I mean, let me like, so there's this guy on there. There's this guy on there, right? This dude is black dude. He does nails and shit. His name is Caesar, right? Older. I gotta show you this dude. I gotta send you a picture of this dude as we get over. But he's like, I don't know, let's say late 40s, right? Early 50s.
Yeah.
Um, he's, I don't know, like a, lonely looking, black dude who's just, he's really looking for love. He seemed like a genuine, nice, salt of the earth kind of dude, right? Just like a nice guy, right? And he's like dating this like Ukrainian chick, and he thinks she's super bad too. Don't get me wrong, like he's like a 2, she's like a goddamn 10, right? Like she's super bad, and all she does is like send him pictures, send him videos or whatever, and he sends her money. He's like, can he, like he I was watching this shit. He paid for a trip to Mexico. He like sent her money to buy her flight from Ukraine to Mexico, and he's in Mexico, and she's like, yo, like, like I can't make it. And this nigga's just in Mexico the whole time. I don't know how long he was there, for a couple of days or whatever. And he's just sitting there like with the cameras in front of him, he crying and shit. And I'm like, bro, like they never even showed on the show whether or not that woman is a real actual woman.
Right.
They never showed. They never showed if he's actually talking to this Ukrainian chick with blonde hair and a crazy ass body, right? Because if you look at both of them, you would look at him and be like, she would never bang you, bro. Like it would never happen.
Right.
And you know, it's bad. I think it disproportionately negatively impacts men versus women because
Yeah.
dudes. Listen, niggas is thirsty out here, bro. Like niggas is thirsty out here. Like,
I know, bro. Especially if you ain't got options, or if you're trying to get it where you can.
mm,
It's different. People be desperate, thirsty. That's crazy, but that's what I
yeah,
mean, bro. You don't know in this age. You really don't know who you're talking to,
right,
on different platforms. So that's one way. That's one thing about the digital age that I hate is that you could be so much fake shit. You know what
right,
I mean? So much scamming and fake shit, and I can't stand it, bro. I can't stand it, and that's a valid point. I think that for me, one of the things that I see where society is going is that, see, I don't know which came is I don't know if it's the chick. You know, they ask what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? So
right.
I'm not really sure if so internet, digital age, social media, if that brought out a part of human nature that was always there, or if it manipulated and changed, kind of shaped human nature, and now people are acting a certain way because technology has been introduced. So I'm not really sure which one is true. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm
Yeah,
not sure
yeah,
if, but at least what I'm trying to say, what I'm going to say is, I hate this level of just narcissism that I
yeah,
see in the internet and social media. It's like it's all about clicks and likes and followers. It's all about choosing the best filter, the best angle,
yeah,
taking 100 pictures and picking out the best one that
yeah,
you're going to upload. It's about presenting this lifestyle that you may not even live, but just capping about. It's about the prop money. It's
yeah,
about the Photoshop. It's about people basically just needing this constant validation from
yeah,
complete strangers, from
yeah,
followers, from followers.
right,
And I think that I just don't know if social media created this issue and then just blew it up, or if this was always just a part of the human experience and we just didn't know
right,
because we didn't have the tech. What do you
right.
what do you think? Which one came first? Like,
Like,
is it internet?
I have a theory, right? I think that in the next 20 years, right? In the next 20 years, there will be a legitimate medical diagnosis for social media um mental issues, right? Whether
Or
it's,
addiction.
yeah, or addictions, or whether it's like the way you see the world. Like, okay, so I know a lot of people, right, in my life that portray themselves one way on social media, but their actual life is nothing like that. Right. So and I think and personally, and the reason I don't go hard for social media and none of that thing is because I think that 95% of people on social media are fucking lying to you.
It's frauds.
They're lying to you flat out. Let me give you an example, right? And okay, so let me tell you. So my sister, right? I had a rental property at one point. When I was still living in Philly. Right now I live in Delaware. I had to get the fuck up out of there. But right now I'm living in Delaware. I was living in Philly at a rental property in Germantown. My sister was renting was a sister. One of my sisters was renting one of the apartments in my triplex. in Germantown. On her social, she as soon as COVID happened, she stopped paying rent, right, and it put me in a really tight bind, right. All those people in the but her, let's just focus on her. She stopped paying rent, right. It put me in a really tight bind, and she was telling me like, listen, I really can't pay. I lost my job, blah blah blah. But I look on her social media. She's in fucking Puerto Rico. She's in Dominican Republic. She's in Mexico. She is living the fucking life. If you just look on her social media, you're like, this bitch is winning.
Right.
She's killing it. She's crushing it. She lives the life that I wish I could live. That's what you're thinking if you're just looking at her social media and just taking it just for what it's worth, right? But what you don't know, which I knew you don't know, is that she is, every time I see her, she's begging me to stay in the place because she can't afford to stay there anymore.
Right.
That's what the other, I don't know how many friends she had on social media or followers or whatever. Those people don't know that.
Right. Right.
And it's absolutely insane. I'm gonna give you one more example, right? All right. So this is how people think of social media. It's I can go on and on and on, but let me just give you one more, then you can do your thing.
No.
So I was another relationship of mine, right? I was in another relationship. And her and I, we weren't having a great time, right? And we were kind of splitting up. We were doing our thing, whatever. We were both parting ways. And her and I were talking, and we were like arguing about some stuff or whatever, about how to split resources, blah blah blah. Then we go in our separate ways. She says to me, her and I are looking at each other. She says to me, she says, "Hey, listen, Ty, you're lucky because she's big on not I'll say not big, but she's on Instagram, right? She's a person on Instagram, and she has followers or whatever. So she's like, "Hey, you're lucky." And I'm like, "Lucky for what?" She's like, "You're lucky I don't go to Instagram and expose you to my followers." And I'm looking at her, I'm like, we're in the same room together. It wasn't a telephone conversation or nothing. We're in the same room together, 3 feet apart.
Right.
I'm looking at her and I'm like, "You're fucking pathetic." These are exact words I said to her. I was like, "Yo, you're fucking pathetic." I'm like, "Why the fuck do you think I would give a fuck about a group of people that I'll never meet, that you also don't know, but I'm supposed to be scared that you'll expose me to a group of people?" Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why would I care about the 30 thumbs up or comments that you get on your fucking page based off how you feel about me or how you portray me on your fucking Instagram fucking page? I looked at her. My literal exact words were, "Yo, you're fucking pathetic. I can't believe you said that to me."
Right.
Bro, I was so fucking confused. Like that's supposed to like make me be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, all right, that's it. I give up. Whatever you want, you can get.
Right.
Just don't put me on Instagram, please. Don't, please. Like, what in the fuck?
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. That's wild. But I remember I had an argument with someone or a debate on Instagram a while back, and it was the first time someone had ever told me this, and I was so confused by it. And she was just like, "That's why you ain't got no followers." And in my mind, I'm like, I don't care. Like, is that really that big of an insult to tell somebody you ain't got no followers? But for some people, it is a pretty big deal. If people ain't got followers, you ain't important. You ain't in the club. You ain't it. And but it caught me so off guard because I really didn't give a fuck about this social media shit at the time. I was engaging because hey, it was there. I didn't want to be left behind. I wanted to partake. But like for somebody to just throw an insult at you and be like, "That's why you ain't got no followers." In my mind, I'm
That's the
like,
insult. Like, how's that an
"You
insult?
got
How's
no
that an insult?
followers? Care about how many people I blocked when I was on Instagram that I didn't know. No, I don't know you. Like I wasn't just one of them people who was just adding everybody and accepting all my friend requests because I'm like, no, why do I want all these fucking strangers in my life? You know what I mean? And some people don't care. Some people are okay with having strangers seeing different intimate aspects of your life, and I don't understand it, bro. I don't, and that's what fucks me up about the social media shit is that people put on so many intimate things on Instagram, and I
Right.
just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Like some things is like, shorty, you should have shared that with your therapist. That's not some shit you should have put on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's not some shit you should have put on anything. You should have
Yeah.
shared that with your therapist. Now everybody know about your issues.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody know about your problems. And I feel like it just gave like I don't know. It's weird. Remember when I was asking like I don't know if social media has molded our nature and made it what it is now, or if we already had this shit in us, and now that we had a platform to broadcast our opinions, our lives, that we just took advantage of it. I really don't know
Right.
which one really what the greater influence was. I don't.
What I don't understand is that, like, why do people on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, regular people? I'm not talking about celebrities. Everybody's suck celebrities
Right.
off, right?
Right.
Those are, let's take them out of
Right.
the. But why do regular people, like, listen? I got male friends that like, we've been out to dinner and they'll take a picture of their dinner and they'll post it and they'll be like, oh, I'll be like, bro, why the fuck do you think anybody cares what you're eating for dinner? Like, my thing is, I guess it's human nature for people to be like vain and think the world revolves around them. But with social media, what that shit's done is like, people, it gives people an avenue to, like, to validate that shit, to be like, oh, okay, cool, we're already vain and superficial and we think the world revolves around us, but it's like, now it's like, okay, based off the amount of followers I have, the world really does revolve around me. Like, I don't, if you don't have social media, you don't have Carly, whatever, the chick from Georgia that disappeared herself. Like, you don't have that. You know what I mean? If you don't have social media, because nobody would know. Like, right? Like, if only people would knew was the people that knew her personally, she would never do that. She would never disappear herself. But, like,
Yeah.
because that shit was a potential phenomenon that the world would know about, it's like, oh, okay, cool, I'll disappear myself. You know what I mean? Like, and motherfuckers know that. And it's, like I said, I don't like, I think women go harder at it, but I think men do that shit too. Like I said, I got male friends that'll take pictures of their breakfast and post that shit and be like, "Oh, well, this is what I'm eating for breakfast." I'm like, nigga, nobody gives a fuck what you're eating for breakfast. I don't
Nobody
care.
cares.
Nobody cares, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what you're eating for breakfast. There's nothing special about your breakfast than anybody else's breakfast. Like,
Right.
so let me say this one last quick story, right? Social media is wild, right? So my wife and I, like, we went to, what the hell was it? It's called Sugar. I don't know if you've been to Atlantic City lately, but there's a restaurant on a boardwalk that's called Sugar, and like, a lot of, you go in there, there's a lot of pictures and celebrities are there and shit like that. Kim Kardashian, Akon, all these people go there and they take pictures and shit, right? So there's this drink, there's this goblet, right? It's like a huge ass goblet, and it's meant for two people. And it's like, they put like dry ice in there, they put gummy bears in there, they put all a huge. It's crazy, bro. We listen, we gotta go. Fuck it, we gotta go. But it's great. Well, no, we wouldn't share one. I have a goblet, you'll have a goblet, so we won't share it. But anyway, but,
Hold on.
but if you go with your wife, if you go with your wife, you share a goblet with your wife. But 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 yeah, so it's like, so they bring the goblet out. We having breakfast there. We spent the night there. It was, whose birthday was it? It was either mine or her birthday, whatever. And we get the goblet, and the goblet's huge as shit. And it's so cool. It's foaming out the thing, and all this smoke is coming out, and all this. So we're drinking, and the waiter is just sitting there. And so I'm drinking my shit. She's drinking her shit on the other side. We kind of glancing over at him. He's sitting there for like 15 seconds, and we look at him like, bro, like, what's up? He's like, oh, which one of you guys want me to use your phone to take a picture? And we're like, no, we're good. We don't need you to put. He's like, oh, really? Because everybody else wants me to. And we're like, no, we're good. And then so he goes, walks away, comes back with his manager. His manager like, oh, well, we're really surprised because, like, nobody just buys this, because the drink is like $70, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a huge ass drink. And him and the manager is like, well, when people normally buy this drink, they take a picture, post it on their social media, and then they return the drink. So you understand what I'm saying? So they'll be drinking it, and then they'll take the picture of it. They'll get him to take the picture, be like, "Oh, well, something's wrong with this drink. This drink tastes terrible. Can you take it back?" But by that time, it's already posted on whatever, you know what I mean, Instagram, Facebook, whatever,
Right.
and everybody who knows how much that drink costs is like, "Damn, they bought that $70 goblet. That shit was up, like." You know, like,
That's
so they're
crazy.
so me and Tosh sitting there like, okay, like, we like, no, we're good. We don't need. We didn't give it. We wanted to drink the goblet. You know what I mean? We didn't give a
Right.
shit about the joint because we wanted to eat the gummy bears at the
Yeah.
bottom and all the smoking foam and all that was cut. It was looked cool, and we were just like, nah, we're good. We could just buy this and that's it. And they were just like, wow, like, they're looking at us like they were looking at us like we're crazy.
Yeah.
So
Man. It's like the people who are, we've talked about the younger generation so many times. We're going to continue talking about these young folks, right? But it's scary to me how much stock young people have in social media as well,
Yeah, it's pretty
because
sad.
followers, blue checks,
Right.
all that shit means so much to them.
Yeah.
My boyfriend liked this girl's picture. Now I'm gonna beat that bitch the fuck up.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
why he slid up in my DM, or that's different. But like, I don't know. It's weird because we in the beginning we talked about how it connects all of us and how we're able to connect and
Yeah.
build these relationships and meet strangers or people from the past. But in a way, I also feel like it just exposes how lonely people are, bro.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really, for me, social media, internet, it really just exposes not just how much mental illness is out there, but really how lonely people are, because people will be out there putting themselves out there, doing shit for clout to go viral,
Yeah.
doing things so that a guy, chicks will go on there and be like, well, all my half naked pictures, I get more likes.
Right.
So I guess I'm gonna keep putting up half naked pictures because that's what people want to see. And it's like, no, we're just men. We have eyes, and if we can, we will smash. It has nothing to do with the fact that we like you or that we
Right.
feel like, you know what I mean? Like, it really exposes how lonely people really are,
Yeah.
bro. Because people are always out there trying to get validation, and everybody who's like really into social media, like the people who are really into it,
Yeah.
they'll all give each other that validation. But for people like us who are like kind of removed from it,
Yeah.
we just look at that shit like it's fucking weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird for me. It's so weird for me. And taking pictures of food and shit like that, that shit is weird, bro. That shit is fucking weird.
Like
And
nobody gives a fuck what you ate for dinner, bro. Like unless Gordon Ramsay came to your crib and made you like a personal fucking dish, I don't give a fuck that you had eggs Benedict, bro. Like everybody would know what eggs Benedict look like. I don't give a fuck. Like why are you bruh?
right, I
I don't
don't.
get it.
And I also feel like, and I see this more with women than with the men on social media, but I also feel like women have become like cookie cutter versions of each other. You know what I mean? Every woman is trying to look like that one IG model
Yeah.
who either hopefully she's natural, but usually they're not,
No, they're
and they're
not.
work
No.
done, and they look a certain way, and they're with all the celebrities and they're with all the athletes, and so we
Yeah.
see all these women and these young girls aspiring to be these women. They want to look like them. That's when you had all these women going out in droves to get the BBLs
Right.
and to get the lip injections and to get the boob jobs,
Right.
and it's like women just all want to look alike. They want to look like, everyone wants to look like Kim Kardashian, or
Right.
everybody wants to look like, what's the next big name, Cardi B, or everyone wants to look like, I don't know who,
Right.
but I also feel like it made some women, I can't speak for all, they basically just became like kind of sheep. Everyone wants to aspire for the
Right.
same look.
Not,
And I'm
not,
like, why?
I think the BBL is an extreme. It's very common, right? Don't get me wrong. But the BBL, I think this shit is extreme. I think on a regular level, I know I can think of 5 women off the top of my head, bro, that look so much better on Instagram than they do in real life. It's not even fucking funny. It's like night and day, bro. I know there's like 5 women I can think of off the top of my head. I can give names that are just like,
Right.
yo, they look so much better on Instagram because of them filters and shit than they do in real life. And it's like,
That's
why
crazy.
would you even want to fucking portray that image of yourself? Because you'll meet a guy will hit you up and be like, yo, what's up? You'll meet the guy. And how the fuck do you
Right.
fake that shit? You
Right.
can't fake that shit.
Right.
You,
You can't.
I heard,
That's catfishing.
I
That's
watched
catfishing, bro.
Academics podcast, right?
Yeah.
Academics was talking about like how he be flying chicks out and stuff like that. He'll meet them and he'd be like, yo, you're a fucking catfish. He'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
but by the time he fly him out, it's too late. So he like, fuck it. I'll fuck him, I'll do X, Y, and Z, and I'll send him back. But it's like he like, bro, like he'll never deal with him again. But it's like, bro, like you're a catfish. Obviously, I'm not. You and I aren't the type of niggas that's gonna fly motherfuckers out and all that, right? That's for
Right.
another group of niggas to do, right? But
Right.
bro, like I know at least 5 different women that I've dealt with on a personal basis. That if you look at their Facebook, you're like, God damn, you're goddamn gorgeous. But if you see
Right.
them in person, because I've seen them in person, I've seen them in different settings, that it's like you're just a regular looking, average looking woman. But on Instagram, they look like they should have a modeling contract and should be on a goddamn runway with some fucking,
Nah.
you know what I mean? Like it's
You
absolutely insane.
you said it first, bro. Scammers.
Hmm.
That was the first point you made.
Hmm.
Scammers. And we talked about the fact that you don't know who you're talking to online.
No.
You don't know because they don't look the way they normally look. Do you remember? There are some people who even try to get surgery done, cosmetic surgery done,
Right.
so they can look the way that they look under an Instagram
Hmm.
filter. That for me is scary.
Yeah.
Like when your reality is becoming this digital world
Right.
and you want to emulate the digital world
Yeah.
and that for me is it's
Yeah.
scary, bro.
It's
It
funny you say that.
scares me.
It's funny you say that. I was watching the E channel, right? They were talking about some surgery or whatever, how the trend in plastic surgery used to be versus what it is now. And the surgeon was talking, and he was saying that like what the trend used to be is that like somebody would come to a surgeon with like a picture of Jennifer Aniston or Jolie, and
Mhm.
come and be like, hey, listen, I want her lips, I want her ass, I want her arch and her whatever the fuck, right? And they will be like, oh, okay, cool, this whatever. Now they come to surgeons with pictures of themselves on social media and be like, I want to look like this. So they'll come with a picture of themselves,
Right.
but a filtered picture of them and be like, listen, I want an ass like this. I want abs like this. I want a face like this. I want eyes like this. Of
Mhm.
themselves, not of another person. That doesn't make any goddamn sense, bro. What you mean you want to look like you? That's you, right? That's supposed to be you on your Instagram. It's supposed to be you on your Twitter, on your Facebook. But you want to look like the the real you wants to look like the fake you? That's just crazy.
Right. And there've been studies though that show that the negative impact of social media and things like that, it hits women and girls so much harder than boys and men. And that's not to say that boys don't partake in it, that men aren't partaking in the
Right.
fuck shit either. Like, we do, but like statistically, and based on studies, women, especially young girls, are far negatively. They have a greater negative impact on
Yeah.
their body image, self confidence, the way that they view themselves. So, it really fucks with their mentality and with their self esteem, bro. And that's what hurts me because it's like even with I've told my daughter Kira, I've told her, listen, if it's up to me, you're not gonna have social media until you graduate middle school.
Right.
I said, even then, I'm hesitant when you got it in high school. I said, but I'm going to remove that poison
Yeah.
from your life until because her sister when she was young, her sister had TikTok, had a Snapchat, and I'm like, yo, you are setting your kids up to like be promiscuous, to be sneaky and do shit behind your back, to talk with grown people who they think are maybe their age, but it's just grown men trying to scam for nude or sexually or promiscuous pictures. Like,
Right.
I'm telling you, bro, it's really the way what it's done to our younger kids. It fucking scares me that parents allow their kids so much freedom
Right.
on this shit. Why do so many kids have access to Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat? And what do you think they're doing on there? What do you think they're doing when you're not paying attention? You can't constantly monitor them. You know what I mean? You just can't do
Yeah.
that. And it's scary, bro. Like that social media is one thing that the digital age has brought us that it's a gift and a curse. It really is a gift and a curse. And while I see so many positive things that it contributes to society, I have to ask myself, does the good outweigh the bad?
Right.
Does it? Does it?
I have conversations with with women around me, coworkers, female friends and stuff like that. And like what always confused me is that like I thought that their impression was that like the lives that people live on social media are real, right? Like that's what I thought. I thought women thought
Right.
that this shit is real. Bruh,
Right.
everybody knows it's not real. They're just like they just kind of compartmentalize it, right? They're like, well, you know what? This isn't really lying. It's just it's just social media stuff. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like at a certain point, right? At what point is it like does it have some kind of like mental like mental side effects, right? That's why I said earlier when I'm like, yo, my opinion is that eventually we'll have some kind of like specified version of mental illness based off social media because the lives that motherfuckers live at a certain point, the party has to end, right? The
Mm-hmm.
lights got to come on, motherfuckers got to wake up from the dream, right? So if I'm 20 right now, right, and I'm living this social media life where I'm in Miami every 4 weeks, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm making $40,000 a year. Eventually, the party has to end, and it's like, nigga, all right, you can't you got to realize that like you're living in someone's basement, you can't afford this shit, and now what, right? So it's like,
Right.
what happens to those people who I think will be limitless, right? Because I think that the generation, because we're millennials right now, the generation below us, Z, right, Generation Z, bro. I don't know if I met a more delusional group of motherfuckers, bro. Like every one of them think they're going to be some kind of social media millionaire. Every one of them.
I
They see Kai Cenat. They see the boy Aiden Ross. They see I don't know. There's a lot of motherfucking YouTube.
I show
I
speed.
show speed. Weird, like, like weird social
Shout out to
media
him.
personality, right? Like he's killing it, right? But he's an anomaly, right?
Right.
How many weirdos? You see the kid in London? What's his name? He be Snoopy. Well, I forget his name, but he was on Pierce Morgan not too long ago. And he ran in somebody's house. He was in London. He just walked in somebody's house as a prank. And one of his friends was recording him and shit. And the husband and wife was looking. They're looking at him like, the fuck. The husband is in a crib. The wife is in a crib. Their baby's in a crib. He just what this rent his black dude from London. What's his name? Zuby. Not Zuby. Not Zuby. No, I'm tripping. It's not Zuby. Um, damn, I forget his name. I wish I could remember. But he walked in their house, bro. He walked in their house in London, and the husband is like, "Yo, get out!" He's screaming at him like, "Get out! Get out! Get out!" And he's just like trying to make conversation, and he like runs out the house like, "Ha ha 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 ha." But it's like, bro, like, why do you think that's cool? Like, yo,
Everything for the likes. Everything for the likes. Everything for the clout. This is one of the things that the digital age has birthed. It's this shit going viral and this inflated sense of self. You know what I mean? This inflated ego, like this growing narcissism that I see in our young people, where like the world, they are the center of the fucking universe,
right,
and they're gonna do what they want to do, despite even if it inconveniences anyone else or embarrasses or puts anyone else in harm's way. It don't matter. It's about the clicks.
right,
It's about going viral. It's about going viral.
right,
And this is where we are now, and that shit really scares me, bro, because it's fucking sad.
yeah,
It's sad. They all think they're gonna be, like you said, famous podcasters or social media influencers. You know what I mean? Like all this shit. You got people talking about I'm a model, but all you do is post pictures on Instagram. Like, right? It's
yeah,
like saying I play Call of Duty. I'm a fucking soldier. No,
yeah,
it's not the
yeah,
same
no,
thing.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not the same shit.
yeah,
But they believe it. They believe it. So it definitely feeds delusion. It,
yeah,
it really, really does feed delusion, bro. It really distorts their reality. And it's only going to get worse. And
yeah,
that's the thing. People don't understand. It only gets worse. I mean, now they were saying there was a study that's showing that the majority of young people now, like in their 20s and shit like that, where do you think they're meeting people now for dating? Where do you think the majority of people and the young people are meeting people now?
dating apps or
Dating
fake
apps.
Instagram.
Dating apps.
Um,
Tinder, Bumble, Grinder, for those who are interested.
right,
I don't, but they're now, the digital age has also made it so that we're not even connecting with people in real life anymore. Now we're meeting our matches. Our matches is funny.
yeah,
We're matching with people on dating apps. So
yeah,
now you've removed this whole kind of organic element of the human experience of going out of your house,
right,
touching some fucking grass, but just being outside and connecting with people organically.
right,
Because now you can just swipe left or right like it's a fucking, like you're going through an Amazon book or like a fucking catalog of people. It's become so superficial where now it's like, I don't know, bro. It's changed
yeah,
so many important aspects of the human experience. And I've never been. I kind of, I was already in relationships, and I've had lots of success with women outside of dating apps.
right,
I've never had to, felt compelled to use them. I've always been in relationships. I've also been like a serial monogamous relation person,
yeah,
but I never really got into the apps, dating apps. But now to know that most people now, young people, are matching and dating through dating apps.
yeah,
I'm like, is that a good thing? Are y'all happy with that? Are you okay with not just really talking and communicating and interacting with people in real life? Because I feel like it's made people fucking awkward.
yeah,
Now people don't even know how to talk when they're in person because we're so used to talking to people through screens
yeah,
that it's like it's really changed. We don't really, younger people now don't look up on, like, they're not fast to pick up on social cues now
yeah,
because so much of it is just on their fucking phones or just on a computer or on a screen. So I don't know, bro. Like, I love what technology and the digital age has brought us, but when I see the way our young people are coming up now, and I can't even relate to them half the
right,
time, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck y'all are anymore. Like, y'all are so different from the young people from my generation. Like,
yeah,
I can't relate. I can't keep up. Everything has changed, and I feel like I don't want to sound like that old dinosaur who's going
yeah,
to be left behind. But like, I'm like, yo, I'm okay right here in certain places. Some things I'm okay with being left behind because I don't
yeah.
like where this shit is headed. You know
I
what I
I
mean?
gotta say this too. Like, listen, I know this is a thing, right? But like, I can't relate. Like online bullying. Like, bro, I
Right.
can't. Like when people be like, listen, when kids in like high school and middle school be like offing themselves and all that, like, bro, I can't
Right.
relate because I'm like, I don't like, like, I
Right.
guess I can't understand like why anyone will put so much significance on something that like isn't even really real.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I don't, like I said, I don't think internet shit is real, bro. Like I think, you know what I mean. I think like you can glean some things from it or whatever, but like the life that people portray online is always fake. It's never real. You know what I mean? Like when people like I said, well, I brought up the example of my sister. My sister will show you, hey, you know what? I'm in Mexico. I'm in Dominican Republic. I'm in Puerto Rico. She's not gonna show you that she's getting evicted. She's not gonna post the eviction notice on her fucking website on Instagram.
Right.
She's not gonna post that.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like, and the same thing with these with these. I don't get why people go so hard for social media when everyone knows, like in the back of their mind, that it's like for show, right? Like it seems like everyone knows like in the back of their mind that this is like this is fake, but like they'll still go hard for like the facade of it, and I don't quite get why motherfuckers go to that extent. Like I said, the bullying thing, like the online bullying thing, people like don't bully online, and people do this and people do that, and I'm like, when I hear stories about that, I'd be like, I don't even understand. Wow, okay, they'd be like, oh, this kid killed himself, because of. I'm like, I don't really understand. Like, I don't get why you would do that because people said some mean stuff about you online. Like I said, maybe I'm just showing my age, and I'm from a time where that's not. But it's like you can just delete. You could not be on. You know what I mean? You could not be on
Log
Twitter.
out.
You could not be on Facebook. You could not be on
Right.
YouTube. You could
Log
not
out.
be on Instagram. Like if it's
Right.
that
Right.
depressing or if it's that like daunting of a task for you,
Mm,
like I don't get it. Like if I could like I don't know about you, but I had bullies when I was growing up, right? Like, and then eventually, like, I graduated from that because I'm like, all right, cool. I learned, you know what I mean? I learned life lessons or whatever. But like,
right.
let's just say, like, I'm going to school every day, and like, there was a bully that I knew for a fact that would beat me up every time I went to school. I can understand that being a reason why somebody might be like, yo, you know what? I can't deal with this shit for the next 3 years, and I might not
Right.
want to deal with this anymore. I can't understand why people are like, I don't want to deal with people saying, I wear the same shirt every Tuesday, um, on Instagram, so I don't want to be here anymore. Like I can't relate when people be like anti, and I just don't get it, bro. Like
Yeah.
like I said, maybe I'm from a different time, but I'll be sitting there like, people, listen, people are bullies, bro, regardless of what phase in life you are. It takes school out of it. People are bullies as adults. So if you don't learn
Yeah.
how to deal with these people as kids and you go into adulthood, you'll just be bullied as a grown person.
Right.
That's it. Like
Right.
it may not be as overt. Give me your chocolate milk, but it'll be like, yo, let him do this extra work. I don't want to do this. I mean, like, hey, you got off, this Christmas. You got off Christmas Eve. You know what? I went off Christmas Eve. Take off. Take your leave out so I can go on Christmas Eve. Like it could take on a bunch of different forms, but the way you deal with bullies is the same way you deal with bullies since the beginning of time. Like you gotta check it, or
Right.
it'll just
And
run your life.
I, you yes, I agree, and you definitely you referenced it because I was as you were speaking, I was like, there's a reason why we can't relate to it. There's a reason why we don't understand why you can't just shut it off or log off, and I think that we are part of that generation that was born before this technological boom, before social media, before the internet. We lived life before with the internet, and then we were here when it happened,
Mm,
and now we've been living life through that. And I think that our perspective is so different because we can never understand being born into this shit, bro. Like there's something called a digital footprint, and that just means, and that means that by the time you're like, a month old, your parents have already taken pictures of you. You already have a digital footprint on the internet. Like as a baby, you already are on the internet. People can go on social media and find pictures of you. You have no consent, no control. These are your parents putting up pictures of their kids. You know what I'm saying? So like these children are born into social media, are born into this
mm,
internet world. So for us, we still have that perspective where we're like, we can see what life was like before. We can see how much it's changed in the good way, the positive ways, and the negative ways. We can still discern, like, we can still kind of, we have that perspective. But for people who were born into it, it's a completely different life, bro. This is real for them. You kept saying, like, it's not real to me. It's not real to me. Yeah, I agree with you. For me, the shit ain't real either. I don't put stock in it. I don't give a fuck about followers. I don't give a fuck about getting likes, about going viral.
Mm,
I don't give a fuck. I don't, but for these younger people who were born into it, this is what they know. This is how they learn to connect with each other at a young age. This is what they know. So from people from our generation, you see there's people like us who haven't necessarily rejected all of it, but have kind of been like, it's cool, it's fun, I see its use, but it ain't for me. I might go on and do this or do that, but I'm not really that fully invested in it. I don't give a fuck about it.
mm,
Then there are some of us who caught on to the shit, fell in love with it from our generation, and then tried to act like some of these fucking young people and just went crazy with it
mm.
and just decided to sail on that ship. And we see where they are now and how they have changed and how it's impacted them. So I think that's where the disconnect is for people like us, where like we were able to see what life was like before that. But I can never imagine what if we were born into this shit, bro? What if by the time we was like in fifth or sixth grade, we already had Facebook and Instagram and
Mm.
Snapchat? We would be very different people because we don't know what life was like before that, bro. We don't know about having to go outside and make friends, like literally go out and make friends and play hide and go seek and play manhunt and fucking make friends in your neighborhood and go outside. You know what I mean? That was our life. But for a young person born now, I got my daughter now, and a lot of her friends that she talks to when she's home are on her tablet. She got friends that she talks to from Georgia, friends from
Right,
school. They play Roblox together, but now this is how they're connecting,
right,
bro. It's completely different. So for them, this is real. We don't understand it. We don't fuck with it like that, but this is real for them, bro. And I'm telling you, young people put a shitload of stock into this social media shit, bro. They really, really do. And you talked about the bullying shit. I worked in education for a while. There would literally be kids talking shit over the weekend. So Friday dismissal, everybody go home. People be talking shit all throughout the weekend on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever the fuck they was talking shit. And then Monday, all hell would break loose because they would come back and fight about all the shit they've been talking about on social media. I'm like, yo, this Facebook shit is out of
right,
pocket.
right.
It's out of pocket. It's real for them, bro. So, where we at now? We're reaching that point. We try to keep it to an hour and we're going to
Yeah,
make more installments, but we try to limit it though. But like I said, there's a lot of there's a lot of positives to this digital age and the impact in society. But I just feel like it's also just stripping us of some core things that made of the human experience.
mm,
And the biggest one is just connecting in real time, bro. I feel like we've also lost a lot of empathy because, fuck it. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to be famous, to be liked, to get followers, to get that blue check, even
mm.
if it means, shitting on someone else. We've lost so much empathy, and these young people feel like they're way more important than they are. It's like, y'all motherfuckers are not that important.
Yo,
Y'all don't contribute nearly as much as y'all do. And the
no,
sad part is they make each other famous because you get people like Bad Baby, that fucking nut ass chick who got famous and
yeah,
then made like $1 million in like 24
yeah,
hours on
yeah,
fucking OnlyFans, basically appropriating black culture and getting the fucking break. And she's a fucking idiot.
yeah,
But she
yeah,
got famous from going on Dr. Phil. She went viral, and then people in her age basically made her famous. People made Kim Kardashian famous. People made, well, her sex tape made her famous, but people put stock into these celebrities and these people and we prop them up. And that's why I'm like, we can complain about the fact that there are people who are talentless, making bread and getting famous and going viral, but
yeah,
it's like, but we give them that.
yeah,
We as a society, we feed into that shit and we make them famous. We make them popular. And that's what I hate because that's where we are now. Cause it's like, well, we can hate as much as they want, but all they're doing is, their peers are propping them up. Their
right, right,
peers are making them famous. So it's a fucking problem, bro, where these people with no talent are just getting paid to do bullshit.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And bro, I can't relate, bro. I can't. I still like to touch the grass. I'd rather be outside. I'd rather connect with people, in real time. There's gonna be a day where that's not gonna be it. That's gonna be it's a thing of the past, bro.
yeah.
It's a thing of the past. We're already on that path, man,
Mm.
and it's scary to think about that, man.
The thing that's annoying to me, I guess, is that like I know you don't live that life. You feel what I'm saying? Like, bro, I can't tell you how many family members I got that's on that shit that you would look at and you be like, wow,
Right?
like you're rich. Everybody is fucking rich on social media, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody should post their fucking past due T-Mobile Sprint bill. That's like they about to get their shit cut off. Nobody posts that, bro. It's just all the good stuff or whatever. Like I said, I've been in relationships where that was the case. I'm like, bro, like you're broke. We are broke as a
Right.
couple. We're broke as a couple,
Right.
and we're in you know what I mean, Bermuda with the pink sand, and we're broke. Like, but everybody watching it be like, yo, these motherfuckers is up. They winning. It's
Yeah.
annoying, bro.
Yeah. Well, as long as people like us know that a lot of that is just BS. I don't believe most of what I see on social media, bro. I just don't. I don't even know if I'm looking at a broad and if I can tell if that's is this actually what she looks like. I
Right?
don't believe it until I see you in
No,
person. No,
no.
you know what I mean? But yeah, but men are just as guilty of doing this shit too, bro. But I'm just happy there are people like you who are still real, who understand that there's a real life out here, and this is what truly matters.
Right?
And not losing sight of that shit, bro. Like never lose sight of that, bro. Because I know some people in my family too, and people in my peers who are caught up in this social media and this internet shit, and I'm like, y'all are fucking lost. Y'all got this ship and y'all just sailed off with it, and like I just can't because I
Yeah.
see what it does to us. I see it. I can't do it, bro. I can't.
Right.
I can't do it, bro. But there's definitely more we can touch on with. So now I know we focused heavy on social media, but social media is huge. So
Yeah.
there's no way we were gonna ignore
No.
social media because it shapes society now.
Yeah.
It shapes our fucking lives. You know what I mean? Like, sheesh. So I don't know. I'm hoping that I don't know what's gonna bring balance back. I think that we're here permanently.
Yeah. I think
It's
it's we too far
only gonna
gone.
get worse.
Yeah.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better. I can
Yeah.
tell you that. I definitely feel like it. Maybe at some point it will, but it's gonna get worse, bro. It really, really is.
You remember when before autism was a thing, right? Before ADHD was a thing, right? Before Asperger's
Yeah.
was a thing. Mark my words, bro. We gotta put this on whatever platform we on. But mark my words. Ty is saying before this shit is a thing, it's gonna be a thing within the next 10 years. Listen, what's gonna be a thing is social media induced psychological issues, specifically revolving around social media. I'm not just talking about some general
Yeah.
PTSD because everybody says that, depression, anxiety, whatever. It'll be like
Right.
Instagram induced anxiety. You mean like, it'll be something that you have to take a goddamn pill for because these motherfuckers just lost all semblance of what's
Yeah.
real in reality. It'll be, I promise you. So
Right.
if it was a stock right now, I would invest in that shit. I will put all $13 in my bank account on that shit.
Yeah.
Social media induced some kind of anxiety, depression, what's I don't know, whatever kind of mania, whatever the fuck. Like I promise you, in a couple and
Dysmorphia.
dysmorphia, whatever. Like, bruh, give me less than 10 years. 10 years will be the max. Less than 10 years, it'll be social media induced medical, uh, mental issues. Straight the fuck up.
Right. Yeah. No, it's gonna happen.
Mm.
I also feel like it's gonna be that and some combination of like just social awkwardness. I just feel like as people we're gonna be so awkward that when we get invited to a function and we actually go out to public, motherfuckers are gonna be so fucking weird. They're not gonna know how to really talk to each other in person because everything
Yeah,
is through a fucking screen or in the internet, and that's already kind of happening. You see everybody on the bus, everybody's on their fucking phone. See niggas driving, everybody on their fucking phone. Like everybody's just looking down. Like everyone's just like so preoccupied.
right,
That FOMO is now a bigger problem now. The fear of missing out, where people get anxious when they have to put their phones in their pockets and they can't check it every 5 minutes because they're like, oh my God, I'm missing someone's feed,
right,
or I'm missing a post that went viral,
right,
or I got 3 notifications. I wonder what the
right,
fuck it was. And people literally get like anxiety
right.
because they feel like they're missing out. So even we're closer than you think, bro. I say less than 5, bro, because we're already there. We're already there. They just haven't they just haven't given it a clinical diagnosis
Bruh,
or a term, but
invest in
we're there.
invest in pharmaceutical companies like right now, bro, because this shit gonna skyrocket, bro. I'm telling you, like I just started doing Robinhood, right? Like just like I'm trying to invest in random shit. I'm about to try and invest in like cannabis companies, and I'm about to fucking do some pharmaceutical companies, bro. Like I'm trying to get
Yeah,
whatever little pennies I can scrounge up and do that because that shit gonna skyrocket. Because there's gonna be a lot of motherfucking
yeah, bro.
millennials, right? Millennials and zennials that are fucking delusional, that got to take some pills to compensate for what they see online versus when they wake up in the morning. There's going to have to be some medication that they're going to take the bridge to get to where, like, when a woman wakes up and says, "Oh, all right, cool, this is what I look like," and then she pulls up her phone and then goes on Instagram and be like, "Damn, that's a baddie," but she look in the mirror and be like, "That's an averagey." All right, cool, baddie, averagey, baddie, average. You gotta take a pill for that because that don't make sense.
Right.
Like,
And it's crazy because we grew up with like the Matrix movies, right? And then now it seems like people willingly plug themselves into the Matrix.
right,
You know, it becomes a fabric of their whole fucking identity of their lives. And
right.
now it used to be that before we didn't have choice, but now that we have the choice, we're choosing to put ourselves into this fucking Matrix. And it's delusion, bro. It's fucking crazy.
1,000%.
It's yeah, and yeah, bro, it's gonna happen. All right, so on that note, we're gonna come back and talk back because there's so many different aspects about technology that deals with age too. Because we didn't hit on some things like I know we can talk about the way that it just crushed businesses.
Right.
You know, like like we talked about Blockbuster and Hollywood Videos, and how
Yeah.
those things just went bankrupt.
And
We talked
dating,
about
we can talk
Taxi
about
Cab.
dating on social media.
We talked
That could
about
be an hour
dating
by
on
itself.
social media.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about it with all that shit. So we're definitely gonna come back to this. It would be nice to open up this panel with a couple people or a few other guests
Yeah.
and see what they feel about this social media shit too. Maybe even have somebody who's younger if we can find someone who
Yeah.
is a Generation Z or some shit like
Yeah.
that. Just to balance the perspective, because otherwise we're just the old guys bashing on the younger
Yeah.
generation.
I mean, try to see if I find somebody.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I get it. We showing our age a little
Yeah.
bit, but like I said, we were able to see what life was before, and I don't want to lose sight of that.
Right.
You know, I don't want to forget what life was before. We
Right.
got lucky, bro. We can still remember what life was like before that. And imagine when we all die off. God forbid, not anytime soon, but imagine when we all die off, and all it is people who were born in the internet.
Right.
What do you think society's gonna look like then, bro? I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like when all the people who are alive have all been born into the internet age. It's gonna be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
Everybody gonna be getting BBLs.
Now we got people acting like NPC characters,
Right.
And going, you know what I
Like
mean? Like
ice cream lick, whatever the fuck she be saying. Ice cream lick.
you know what I mean? And did you see how dark she was?
Yo, that was crazy. We gotta end this. We gotta end this. We gotta
end it. We gotta end it, bro. But I was like,
yeah,
what?
fucking light skin filter. Like what? Like,
bruh.
I guess you're not strong, black, independent.
Anything, bro.
No.
She was your fucking complexion.
Right.
How the hell you this white in your fucking NPC shit? But when you go up to the streaming award, okay, never mind. All right, y'all. So join us next time. We got our Cash App, we got our Zelle, we got our Venmo, we got everything set up. We got our YouTube, our social media site set up. We're gonna be uploading these videos. We're gonna try to be pushing out more content on our social media platforms. We really want this to take off. We really want to get some interesting guests on here to help us discuss some of these harder topics and more interesting topics. So listen, No Picks is working. We working, y'all. We're trying to get in the game. We're trying to get this ball rolling. We're there. Please keep tuning in. Give us feedback. Join us. Let us know how you feel about our perspectives.
Support us.
We love dialogue. Support us.
Yeah.
We want to throw some bread. Anything counts.
Yeah.
Anything helps.
Yeah. We need some equipment. So, we need some consistent shit. Like I need a 3-piece suit. You mean like you already know. Like.
Yeah. But on that note, we will check out. We're gonna end this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in with us tonight. Ty, it was a pleasure as always, brother. Always nice to see you. Always, brother. And until next time, this is Joe signing out. All right.